Hello everyone, welcome again to another 360 Timmy. Today we're in Hadleigh in Essex, walking around the ruins of Hadleigh Castle, and my special guest today is Lauren Clayden.
Hello.
Hi Lauren, welcome to the show. Lauren is a technology leader. She started work for a major broadcaster and technology company at the age of 16. She's been there 15 and a half years. What an incredible achievement that is. We're going to talk a bit about her journey there and what she does and how she got the role.
Great.
So where did it start, Lauren? You're at
So
school.
yeah, so I left school in about June 2007, and prior to leaving school, we had to do some Trident work experience. So I thought, oh, I'll try that in London. I went worked for my stepdad's bank where he worked at the time, quite near Fenchurch Street, so quite central London, and did a bit of 2-week work experience. It was more admin, but it was good to get the feel of like the London life and commute as well. So that was that. Left school and then got my GCSE results. They wasn't the best, I must say. Like I didn't get any A stars, A's. I think I got 1B, mostly C's and a D. And to be honest, I moved schools sort of that end of year 9 time, so I got left with not the greatest options to take, but you know, it is what it is.
Did you have any idea what you wanted to do at that point?
No. So I didn't think I really wanted to do these options and exams because I wanted to, I don't know, be a hairdresser or something.
Yeah.
So still didn't really know. And when I left school, still didn't know. So I hadn't applied for college. I just tried to get a job in London. So my stepdad, he'd worked in London for many, many years, and he reached out to a few contacts. I think I had a couple of interviews, one with a bank. I can't remember where the other one was, but didn't have any success there. And then he reached out to an old colleague who worked for Sky. And yeah, that was it really. So he put me in contact. And I think the email said something like, it's an administrator in a team of technical analysts. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be scary.
You didn't even know what that meant?
No. And even Sky, like you just turn on Sky and it works. That's how I thought it worked. So yeah, this was going to be a major leap into actually seeing how Sky does actually work. So yeah, I said I left school in June, but I didn't actually start the job until November. So I had a bit of time off, not really doing much. I think I had a couple of holidays. But yeah, I started in November 2007 on the team of technical support analysts, and it was mainly being their team administrator, so setting up user accounts, minuting meetings, monitoring the mailbox. But it was all good fun. The team were really great. I think there was about 10 of us on the team, so that was good. Based in Brick Lane, East London.
Yeah.
So a good location. And I was under 18 at that point, so couldn't really go out for drinks and the social side of it that much.
Was it quite daunting going into a kind of a technical environment? I suppose that's kind of predominantly lots of men.
Yes, and that is what I thought. I don't know if it actually said it in this original email, but when I joined the team, that's 10 people. I think there was one other female on the team, which was obviously nice for me. But yeah, in the office, there was not many females at all. And that has changed, I've noticed, over the long time I've been at Sky. But yeah, it was very daunting. And even on that train ride on the first day, I was like, oh my God, this is scary. Because I was quite shy back then. So even meeting all these new people, not even my own age, but some of them a few years older, some of them 10, 20, 30, 40 years older. So yeah, that was daunting. But everyone was very welcoming. I do remember on my first day actually though, we got we're down Brick Lane. We went out for curry.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
It's quite famous for curry, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it didn't sell the Brick Lane curries for me, I must say. So we didn't return to that one. But again, it's a nice welcome. And but yeah, I did that for 3 years. So November 07 to October 2010. And
was that an apprenticeship?
No, it was just a normal role.
Yeah.
So just applied for the job, went through the processes. Because I was young actually, I was 16, I had to have a few extra interview steps, one with the director, but that went well. And I always remember, I don't know why, but he was asking about my options, like GCSEs, and I always remember I was telling him about the woodwork that I made, so I don't know if that was the selling point, or I don't know, but it obviously went well.
You must have had a kind of inkling you had a bit of an engineering background there with woodwork.
Maybe, yeah, but again, he made the decision to take on a 16-year-old, which I don't think they'd done, and I think at that point I don't even know if they had the apprenticeship scheme, so yeah.
So that was a kind of admin role, but you're more technical management now.
Yes.
So how did that come about? What was the
So
progression?
yeah, I did that for 3 years, and then as part of that, actually, I sort of got a bit of insight into change management. So, so change management is where, there's lots of changes that need to be made to the network, sites, add capacity, etc.
So you're plugging things in,
Yeah,
adding things.
Yeah, plugging things in, adding things, changing things, removing things, and obviously, if you remove something, let's say if you're removing, I don't know, something in your fridge,
Yeah.
and it's holding something up above it.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you remove it, it's got to fall down. So.
And what would the impact of a customer be there then?
The food's got to go.
Yeah.
Splat.
But I mean in Sky terms.
Yeah, so if you're removing a cable, it should be a low risk, because say if this cable's got no traffic, like customer traffic going down it, it should be low risk. But if, there was traffic going down it, for example, if it's unplugged, that could impact broadband customers.
Yeah.
Could impact sort of the content going to those customers, like on Sky Glass, Stream, Now TV. So yeah, our team was there to basically review. Well, all the teams across Sky submitted these changes for various domains, as in network, enterprise, data centres, for example. They submitted them into our team. We had to just review them. So they'd say, this is the work they're doing. This is how the steps, implementation steps, how we're going to do it. Backup plan in case there are issues. Test plan, and key thing, risks and impacts. So we had to review those, make sure there's sufficient info, no conflicts with other changes. And if there's a change freeze, for example, say if the football's Premier League starting, change management would put a change freeze in place just to protect the network and services in those busy periods. So you just have to make sure nothing conflicts with those sort of things too.
And there's quite a few of these changes a week, I imagine, not just one.
Yeah, I don't know the actual stats, but back then it was probably hundreds, but definitely now it's thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
So thousands of things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And suddenly customers haven't got broadband or TV.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of pressure.
Definitely. But it was good because where I was in the admin role, I was kind of in one specific environment, whereas going in change control, I got knowledge of many more domains.
Yeah.
And that's where I started to understand how the networks of the side of the world of Sky we're in terms of the network, content delivery. I sort of got a bit of an understanding how that worked.
Isn't that your train that you go into London on?
It is. It's going.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, going the wrong way, but there's one there that'll be going the right way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my train. But yeah, it was good stepping stone change control. I was only in that role for 2 years, but it was good to give me that knowledge of the broader knowledge of Sky. As I said at the start, back before I joined Sky, Sky just works. Like, you turn it on and it works, the TV. Broadband just works.
Yeah.
So I was starting to get an understanding of, actually, there's so many pieces to the puzzle that make it work. So yeah, that was good. I think we were only a small team at that point before they merged with sort of the wider Sky change management. So that was 2 years, but as part of that role, I was supporting from a change perspective one of the project management teams on some network migrations they were doing. And a role came up in their team for a project coordinator, so assisting project managers with their projects rather than owning your project and delivering it yourself.
Yeah.
So I went for that role and got the role, and yeah, I started that. That was what must have that been? 2012, October 2012. I started that, and that was my stepping stone or first step into project delivery, where I am now. So still 11 years later. So yeah, I started as a coordinator doing network changes. So in this team and where I'm now, it's really focused on the networks, the Sky Broadband network, and primarily the CDN, so content delivery. So in short, the ways we get content to our end users, that's Sky Broadband, or also third-party ISPs such as BT, TalkTalk, Virgin Media.
So that's if you've got Sky satellite or any of the streaming products, it's about making sure we've got servers that serve that video, like Game of Thrones or
Exactly.
the latest Sky series.
Yes.
Making sure that works.
Exactly that. And when there are, say, these new Sky series, where we're going to see a big peak in traffic, we have to make sure there's sufficient capacity, and just so the end user gets it in the best quality, there's no lagging, etc.
So with that, you're responsible for a lot of budget.
Yeah, especially this role now. When I was coordinator for, I think, 3 years and a PM actually for 5 years, but over the last, I'd say three years, where I went to senior and now program manager, I've been in charge of a lot of budgets, particularly when we were delivering Sky Glass and Sky Stream for UK, Italy. So UK obviously launched in October 2021 and Italy last year. So the 2021 budget was just under $55 million.
Wow.
So covering sort of the back end to glass, where we do with our Comcast colleagues. So the CDN, so the content delivery side, and also the network. So the network had to span Italy, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and connecting back to the UK.
That's quite a complex picture there. So Comcast bought Sky a couple of years ago. They brought over this technology for producing a TV that's run on IP, so you connect it to your broadband. No need for a satellite dish.
Yep.
Or an aerial.
Yes, and it's called SDC, Syndication Data Centre, and they deploy this in the US already, and Sky were actually the first deployment in Europe. So there was quite a few changes, maybe that when you're deploying in the US, you didn't really have to design for, deliver for, but in Europe, there was some changes there in terms of designs, etc. So that was complex.
And when was this happening?
Oh, this was, we launched in October 21, but we were working backwards. It was like a 2-month project, and we all know what happened in 2020.
Yes.
We were just kicking this off probably January of that year, and then March 2020.
Can't go that way. Let's turn around this way.
No, I think we would stumble down there. Well, yeah, good move not to proceed down there. Yes.
As we're talking about the pandemic, we have a cliff hedge.
Yeah,
I like that.
what's that? Yeah, no-go zone.
So everyone's forced to work from home. No one knows what's going on, and you've got to deploy millions of dollars worth of kit.
Yes.
Into data centres that involve people moving things.
Yes, exactly that.
Okay.
So we were all getting used to our work from home setup, because we're so used to, with these projects and programmes, you'd have a lot of big workshops face to face where you can draw on whiteboards and, plan things out when you talk to people face to face. Obviously, it can be a lot easier. And if there are issues, you can, especially on, say, the implementation or design stuff, just draw on boards, talk to each other for 2 hours and, rather than trying to align everyone's schedules when you're working from home. So yeah, that was getting used to it. But on the data centre side, they had to, originally I think they obviously had to sort out the PPE side of it and the rules and regulations, how many people can be in the data centre at once.
Oh yeah, of course,
and, if you're installing loads of servers and patching in loads of tiny little cables, it's not exactly the easiest, I imagine, when you've got PPE on. I don't know if they have to wear gloves, but it's not the easiest. But it all worked out, delivered on time for UK.
And those guys in the data centres, they had special permission because it was seen as public infrastructure, wasn't it? So it keeps the telephones and the broadband going, obviously, when people were working from home. So that was how they were able to work. But office people, you were firmly at home for, I think it was a good 2 years, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, we had a couple of spells where we were allowed back in, But it was only really last year, so 2022, where we properly went back into the office. We're still hybrid, but yeah, we try and plan the days for when the rest of our team are in to make use of face-to-face time.
So what was that? That must have been a hell of a challenge working through that period.
It was really challenging, but on the flip side, we do think in the team that if it wasn't for COVID, we might not have been able to deliver it, or it would have been more stressful than it was, because so during COVID there was not much else to do. So I think people had a tendency to just work the odd couple of hours or few hours sometimes just to get the job done, which obviously we're very grateful for.
Yeah.
Whereas if people who were commuting to and from the office, they wouldn't be so up for staying in the office till 6-7 o'clock or working in the evenings. So
And at the time of delivering Sky Glass and Sky Stream, did you know what it was? Because I know sometimes in big corporations things are kept secret because it's big product launches. I mean, Apple's a classic example, isn't it, where a new phone or something's coming out and.
No, we didn't know at the start, but as we progressed and the trials were sort of starting to kick up, from my side anyway, I was lucky enough to be on the trials, so I got early visibility. But yeah, so some people knew, but there was a big launch event in Sky HQ in West London, and there was a lot of people there that, oh wow, it's the TV, that's what it is. It's not just a IP solution, like a little, yeah, it was a TV.
So did you get to go to some of those events?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Osterley, obviously we're in Essex today. That's where I live, and Osterley for me is a bit of a mission, like 2.5 hours each way. But
That's out
obviously,
near Heathrow, West
near
London.
Heathrow, really near Heathrow. You can see the planes coming in and taking off. But yeah, that's where the launch event was, early October 2021. And I think we had a few suppliers come along as well, and suppliers that we'd been working on all throughout the project. Obviously, we're not allowed to, we can high level tell them what it is, but obviously the TV, the actual product itself, we couldn't say. So it was nice to have some of those there to see it firsthand. And there was quite a cool setup, like they unveiled, had loads of Sky glasses around, sort of, yeah, where you could have a little tour around, little.
It was wasn't there a big press broadcast as well, with the
Yes,
chief executive of Sky and I think the president of Comcast as well.
that was it. Yeah, and also a lucky enough moment. A few of the sort of the program team, there was a sort of a dry run the day before, so we got to go to that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I think that was over in East London as well, pretty near the O2. But
Yeah.
that was really cool. And at that point, obviously, had the idea it was the TV, but I don't think, I know I had seen it because I've got on the trial, but I think some people in the room probably hadn't seen the model, you know, the style of the product. So so that was really cool. And then obviously when we were in Osterley for the main, where everyone at Sky was told, and then the public were told, they showed that presentation on the screen. But that was really cool.
So, we started about where you started, kind of a little bit of work experience and into a role, and then suddenly now you're a technology leader with a budget responsibility of $50-odd million,
Yeah.
and no university education, just self-taught,
Yeah,
I guess, if you will.
definitely didn't go to college or uni, and as I said at the very start, I didn't get the greatest grades, but I didn't get the best grades, but I just learned on the job, to be honest. I have learned so much, and like I said, I didn't know Sky just worked. You turn the TV on, it works. Broadband, it just works. But now I know, I've got very good understanding of how Sky, particularly, the back end side, the technology side works. And I really enjoy what I do. And the glass experience delivering it was really the most intense time at Sky, but especially Europe, because it's building out the network, which, also in COVID times as well. So it wasn't just UK COVID restrictions. We had the restrictions, whichever was happening, Italy, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, So
All
yeah,
different as well, I imagine.
yeah, and at
Yeah.
different times, and thinking, oh yeah, we can install something because UK restrictions are okay, but oh no, actually in Germany it might be a different restriction. So we had that to contend with, but yeah, we got through it, and it was very busy, but it was enjoyable at the same time.
It must be quite something when you work on something for so long and then you see it start advertised on TV or when you go to the
Yes,
cinema or on the
definitely,
radio.
definitely, and the billboards, and you think, oh yeah, I was key, and the team that we work on was absolutely key to getting that delivered. And the thing is, with our sort of work stream in the whole program, we're first up, if that makes sense, because we're the back end network, the Comcast header that I mentioned. We block a number of other work streams. So if we delay or we're late, we delay the rest of the plan. So there's that extra amount of pressure. But you know, we did it for the UK, so we half knew what we were expecting or getting into. But yeah, it's just more complexities with Europe.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, it was good.
Super
It helped
exciting.
get us through COVID. I think it kept us really busy during COVID, which was a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I imagine actually, because I suppose the thing about the COVID period was you didn't really know when it was going to end and where it was going to go.
No,
So I
no,
suppose it was a bit of a distraction.
definitely it was, and especially the times at the very start where you just couldn't do anything. You're only allowed out for a walk for half hour,
Yeah.
however long it was. So kind of it's pros and cons. We were stuck to our laptops quite a lot, but you know there was nothing else to do. Sort of get bored of watching telly sometimes. So yeah, it was good on that front. But yeah, we're back to normal now. We're not back in the office 5 days a week. We're in this hybrid mode, like I mentioned earlier. But it works well. It works
I
well.
suppose you work with a lot of people in different countries anyway, so the notion
Yes.
you would be face to face with everybody you work with, because you
No.
must have people Italy, Germany, America.
Yeah. This is the thing. It's yeah, US, Italy, Germany, and even India as well. Some of our team in India. So if you were doing meetings that had to span, you might have some with European teams, and then America. You know, your day might start at 7:30 or 8, but if you need to have a late call with Comcast, you might stop at 6 or half 6. So being in the office for those sort of days, just you know, prefer not to. So just make it work around the meetings you've got. So yeah, and that's also challenging, to be honest, with the European, actually both deployments, both deliveries, UK and Europe, is just the time zone differences, because we need to be in sync with the US team. And if you need to hop on calls, especially big troubleshooting calls, you know, it can be silly o'clock for some people, especially the teams in India. If you think US and India time zones
Oh
are
yes,
quite,
crikey, that is quite an extreme, isn't it?
yeah, yes. I think there are a few calls when sort of on the networking side where I think, yeah, it's not too bad for us because we're kind of in the middle. But yeah, I think it may be 10:30, 11 p.m. at night. But yeah, the
And not
teams are
least, I
great.
guess you also, I mean, you said about your budget being in dollars, I imagine because it's owned by an American company, but you're also working in pounds and you're working in
Yes,
euros and managing
yes.
a budget in all those three
Oh yeah,
currencies.
definitely. And especially when, yeah, you have to also prepare the budget in those, and you might get budget numbers from a team in dollars and some in euros and pounds, but you've got to then put it all into the same, and it's just making sure you've got it all tracked nicely. So when it comes to, yeah, budget challenges or just allocating money, you sort of know what's what. So yeah, especially also with exchange rates changing, that can also add some challenges as well.
Crikey.
But yes, so keep organised with that sort of thing, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, what an incredible journey. I mean, that is just, you know, we're in, as we're recording this, they've just announced GCSE results and what happens if you don't get the right pass grades to go to university. But you're proof you don't need to
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah, you can, if you want to learn, you can definitely just learn on the job. And
Do you think that that would, in reflection now, is that better than going to university for you?
for me, yes, yeah, definitely, because I think if I went uni, I would probably, I'm not sure the exacts, but maybe left uni at 23 or 4. But at that point, I'd had 8 years experience because I started at 16. So yeah, for me, highly recommend. It
That's
worked for
it.
me well, definitely.
Well, at the age you're at now, early 30s, can I come back in 10 years when you're the CEO or the CTO?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah?
We'll have a nice walk along Hadleigh Castle again.
That's
Sun
it.
will be shining. Yep,
Absolutely.
100%.
Well, Lauren, thank you very much. Been a great chat.
Thank
Great meeting you, and have a good day.
Yep, thank you for having me on.
Take care.
Cheers.